welcome to GoCast, a podcast of 15 minutes about cybersecurity. Today we host Julien Richard. He is Director of Cybersecurity at Lastwall. Enjoy the GoCast.
Great.
It's going to be a real mix-up because we have the same name, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, of course. So you'll be Julien from Lastwall, and I'll be Julien from GoSecure, is it? Yeah? Cool.
Perfect.
Nice. Hey, how about you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, what you like, where you're from, what you don't like, and so forth and so on?
I'll stick with what I like. Nobody wants to know what I don't like. My name is Julien. I'm from New Brunswick, Canada, so all the way out on the Atlantic coast. And I've been working in the IT industry for, I would say, 25 years. I'm really aging myself there, but my background is pen testing. But right now I work as VP of Information Security at Lastwall. We're a small startup out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, doing big things, working with some of the agencies in the US. And my whole world for the last 2 years have been mostly FedRAMP, so I don't get to hit the keyboard as much as I used to.
Nice. Thank you for some insight of where you're from. And you say you're New Brunswick. What's the community look like in New Brunswick? Is it something that is really like, a lot of energized and a lot of people, or what does it look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So right before COVID, I started an OWASP chapter in Moncton, New Brunswick, and because there was no community, but from there we shifted into kind of a thing that we call a collective, which is just a whole bunch of geeks that get together. We chat on Discord. We now have 3 different meetups in 3 different cities and starting to build some more. So that community work has been amazing because we've created this great, we have CISOs talking to students, not knowing that one's a CISO and one's a student. So it's just, we just show up as geeks and it's great. The community since COVID is really ramped up here and it's great.
Well, that's cool. And I guess, do you have a B-side or that kind of event in New Brunswick?
Yeah, we have a B-Sides in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and then we have Atlantic Security Conference, so AdalSecCon, which is happening in Halifax every April, which is, I would say, world-renowned. We have people from all over the States, some people from Europe coming in. I highly recommend. I think the tickets are for sale now. I'm not an organizer or anything. I'm not marketing my own thing, but tickets are going fast. So if you want to go, I highly recommend it.
Well, neither I. And I've been a speaker at AltSecCon, and I've been attending for the last, I'd say, 8 years. It's amazing. You're absolutely correct. So, Julien, you say you're pen testing. How did that story started? Where's day one of you starting in pen test?
Day one must have been when I was 16 years old, reading all those hacker TXT files, and I was way too afraid of authority to do anything. So fast forward a long time, and I was working for a small company doing some financial work and lots of regulatory stuff, and PCI hit us, and all of a sudden they needed a pen test, and I basically used the Metasploit free trial, hit go, and that was my first pen test. I had no clue what I was doing. From then on, realized that there was a lot of platform these days to learn, and I learned from that. After that job, became a consultant at a company. I had an individual take a chance on me and go like, hey, we like what you're doing. We'd love to work with you. And the rest is history, as they would say. Like, I've been a pen tester for now over 10 years, hundreds of engagements. I love it. I still do it as a side gig, so I do still get to hit my hands on the keyboard.
And what's the education that you added to your experience, I guess, in terms of certification? You mentioned OWASP, and what the sideline are you backing yourself up with? Certification, is it important first, maybe certification?
I think the certification on the wall is not as important as the learning that you do as you're taking it. I think I would argue that the exam tests a person's nervousness and anxiety in taking exams, and the course that you take to get there is really where the meat and potatoes and the learning comes from. So certs for myself, I have a few. From a pen testing standpoint, I would say OSCP was one that was really, really helpful, though it kind of lost a bit of its glamour in the last few years. A lot of stuff that TCM is doing, the Cyber Mentor, is awesome. I would highly recommend anybody who wants to do pen testing to go through those courses as opposed to doing OSCP. Then again, anything is good.
Yeah. And what's
sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but the best certification is the one that's going to get you to the job and the one that's going to let you keep your job. That's the best certification to get.
That's good. That's absolutely true. I like that. Yeah. And then what's the background you have? Is it like curiosity? Is it what's the main thing that a pen tester, I guess, would have in common altogether to like breathe and live of that job today?
Yeah, it's a mentality. It's the hacker mindset. I've met some of the best hackers I've found aren't hackers. They're people that go, hey, this is weird. Maybe we should see if it actually works as it should work, whether it's a lock, whether it's an elevator, whether it's, driving into your paid parking lot and you notice that the gate's broken on the entry side or on the exit side, and you just drive through the exit side of the parking lot and you don't have to pay. That's the hacker mindset, right?
True.
So
Yeah.
curiosity, seeing systems, saying, oh, it's not working as it's intended, and then you go and you try to do what it's not supposed to do.
Yeah, true. Well, my kids are asking me every day, what job are you doing, Daddy? What's your and when I try and explain hacking, it's like, if you go to the mountain and you don't want to pay for your ticket to go downhill, right? You can just climb by foot and then ride the mountain, right? You're not paying. This is hacking. It's purely and simple hacking. It's just going around the actual traditional regulation that are out there, right? So yeah, I like the fact that you're today less and less touching the keyboard, as you mentioned, but still you seems to be very technical. Do you have any recommendation on someone that will want to jump into pen tests today? What would you tell them, like what to do or what to study or where to look at?
That's an interesting question, because everybody's path to doing this kind of work is very different. More and more, we're getting more and more courses that you can go to university, you can go to college. But at the end of the day, it's just going there. And there's so many learning platforms out there that you can use. I don't need to name any, but you can go on and you can learn all by yourself. So it really is understanding the technology, understanding how everything works in the background, and then learning how to break it. So I see a lot of pen testers these days, or even a lot of cybersecurity folks that don't have that few years of experience doing networking, doing systems, doing all of those things. And I'm not saying that it's something that you absolutely need, but it helps a lot. If you see a lot of different systems, if you know how to protect them, if you know how they work and everything else, it's a lot easier to break them. So I guess that would be my advice. Like, don't skip the fundamentals. Don't skip IT. An entry-level cybersecurity position is not an entry-level position. And that's what a lot of people in the industry kind of scream at when they see a job posting, goes like, hey, this is junior and it needs 5 years experience. It's not junior. It's not entry level when you look at it from an IT lens, right? It's an entry level cybersecurity position is somebody with a really good understanding of IT.
Yeah, that's a very good point. That's right. We see that all the time, right? Oh, they're asking too much, but you're correct. You need to have that background to be able to understand. It's not entry level. Agreed. I have been posting on that a lot of times, but what do you think of mini pen test or, automated pen test? Or is there such a thing out there?
I can give you an anecdote. I had a client who had some serious cybersecurity issues, didn't have a lot of money. So basically they wanted to hire a pen tester and they did not have the funds to pay for it. So they reached out to me going like, hey, what can you do for this amount of money? And I said, well, it's not going to be a pen test, but it's better than nothing, right? It's better than not spending any money. Yeah, you only have a tiny bit amount of money. Don't go to the board of directors and say you got a pen test, you got some security testing done. There's value in it, but I think if you present it as something that it's not, if you say that it's going to be a very thorough pen test and you just run an automated scan on it, you just have to be open and tell your clients or your vendors or your third parties or whatever else who's buying the product, you got to let them know that, yeah, we call it a pen test, but we ran a automated system on it. Whereas there's value for people that do have the money is it augments your quarterly vulnerability scans, because you do a quarterly vulnerability scan, which is just looking at vulnerabilities. Then you do a yearly pen test, which takes those vulnerabilities and you try to actually exploit them. So if you run an automated system in your quarterly vulnerability scans, you're just augmenting the amount of visibility and the amount of security that you're creating inside of that system. So I think there's a lot of value there, and companies should maybe present it that way when you're trying to sell it.
Yeah, that's another problem, I'd say, in that space, especially, we hear companies saying, oh, I want to buy a red team. And then that company saying, yeah, it's a red team. And then you look at the report and basically what's an external pen test, right? So not always good value. What would you say around?
You're never going to get an AI or an automated system that can do business logic vulnerabilities, that can do something like I forget the name, but like a time of attack. Going, if I do this before this happens, then I can analyze. So it needs a human to kind of analyze the output. But if you're looking for your OWASP top 10, they're going to find it every single time, probably better than a human.
Yeah,
so
no, of course. And you mentioned something, but a real hacker will chain attack together and build the real use case scenario where in the reality that guy would be doing, right? Not just looking for holes and stuff, right? So what are your position around red team? Value, time, understanding of, does the client understand what's a red team? Is it required to do more awareness around that? Or
I'm going to be blunt and say that a lot of people performing red teams don't know where a red team exercise is. I've seen so many statement of works Oh, so you're selling me a vulnerability scan as a red team exercise. But I mean, listen, the difference between a pen test and a red team is a red team is going to get after a certain set of data in any way possible. It doesn't mean that there's no 10, 15, 20 other ways to get to that data. You're just showing the one way to do it. So it's a great way to get funding, right? It's a great way to scare the crap out of your executives and your board and everything else. But a pen test is going to look at every single facet, every different ways to attack systems, and you're going to get a much better view of what your security posture is with a pen test as per a red team. Red team's a lot of fun. Red team, I would say, is more about people, right? It's more about security awareness. It's like, hey, this is how they got in. They phished you. They got your creds. They got these things. And then showing the board of directors that, yeah, we're not doing as great and we probably need funding. A pen test is going to tell you where all your skeletons lie.
True. Good difference. I agree. Hey, Julien, if you could go back 10 years ago and talk to Julien, what would you tell him about career and future?
I guess that's a good question because things have turned out good. There were moments where it was like, am I doing the right decision? So instead of going and saying a negative thing and saying, hey, you should have done this, you should have done that, it's just like, no, you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. Leaving that job without any prospect of a new one is a good thing in the end. But at the time, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, of course. Hey, man, it's been a lot of fun. 15 minutes goes fast. So, really good conversation. Thank you very much. And I hope last thing maybe that next time you come in Quebec, you'll sit on the next couch just right here so we can do that in person, grab a coffee. And yeah.
For sure. It's not too far.
It's not too far. Thank you very much again, Julien, and have a good day.
Thank you.